I've gone from not knowing if I was going to live another 10 years to here we are 10 years later, and I'm still telling that story like you say. What it's meant to me is, I guess because of my position as spokesperson and I'm in the camera, I'm in the limelight a lot, people approach me, guys approach me that have been diagnosed, women approach me whose husbands have been diagnosed, to tell me the success stories, because their husband went in and is being treated because of early detection. And I mean, that's what it's all about. It just fills me with joy to hear these stories. I've always said mine is such a great story. Not because I did anything fantastic or anything like that, but because people did fantastic things for me. And I look at this as maybe it's a little bit of me passing it forward or playing it forward. And it feels good. The 10 years feels really good.
Ed and I have been friends for, I'm just trying to think now, probably at least 30 years. So, and we enjoy a lot of the same things. We enjoy motorcycles, we enjoy a good beer, we occasionally enjoy a good cigar. Anytime you have a close friend, when they come down with a debilitating disease, you feel for them just as much as they do. It was a very, I think, difficult situation that Ed went through, and they weren't quite sure on the prognosis, but with prostate cancer, it was caught early enough, and we are very thankful for the outcome.
It was actually when we decided to start this event that I found out about Ed, because Ed is a neighbor of Mo's, and Mo approached me because similar police associations across the country have kind of taken on this endeavor, and that's how I got to meet Ed, and pretty much our whole committee has been original from the beginning, except about 2 that have left and 4 or 5 that have joined. So, and then I got to learn Ed's story after watching him give it numerous times, and so it was quite interesting.
I was a director with the Winnipeg Police Association at the time, and a pamphlet came across the desk, and it was about a prostate cancer fundraiser, involved motorcycles. And I thought to myself, this is a fantastic event to be involved in for the Police Association, but because of my connection with Ed and his dad, who also had been diagnosed and successfully treated. So I got together a handful of friends, Ed Johnner, Jeff Johnner, Kirk Van Alstyne, who you've already spoken to, and the list goes on and on. I'm sure you've seen the committee members. And the national office came in, and we thought they gave us a little rundown on what it entails, and we thought it would be a good idea to, maybe get 80 riders together and raise some funds, maybe $20,000, and then it just ballooned from there. Our first year we had 378 or 87 riders, and we raised $73,000, and 10 years later, our 10th ride, last year we raised $355,000 for prostate cancer research and education, and in total, in those 9 years, $1.85 million. And we've been involved with world-leading research, but more importantly, the education piece, where we've been able to get men in Manitoba to get out there and get checked is the biggest message that we've been trying to be part of, because 90% of prostate cancer can be treated successfully if it's caught early enough. Statistically, there's 800,000 men in Canada that have prostate cancer, but they don't know it. And they have that ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. So it makes me feel really good, that I was able to help people realize that and go and get tested. And I've been in supermarkets where people have come up to me, men have come up to me and said, "Thank you for saving my life, because if it wasn't for Ride for Dad, I would have never gotten tested."
Well, the day starts early for us at about 6 o'clock, but pre-registration will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Kickstand's up at 10 sharp this year, and we'll have our police escorted parade down Portage Avenue from Polo Park out to Assiniboia Downs. From there, riders embark on a poker derby format, kind of at their own pace. We have a card stop in Selkirk, a card stop in Gimli where we have lunch, and then we have a card stop in Selkirk on the way home, and then we wind up at Canada Inns Windsor Park at Cowboys for our awards presentations and prizes. Everybody is given a few instructions to go back to their motorcycle and do not start your bike at this moment. Our friends from Archangel Fireworks will give you the signal, and when you hear the fireworks going off, that's your signal to start your bikes. And it is deafening, but it's also spine tingling to feel that rumble in the air. Last year we had 1,510 participants, bikes. The parking lot was full. We were bursting at the seams, and we were just and for us in the organizing committee, when it goes off without a stitch, it is, when all those bikes start, it is just a huge relief off of everybody's shoulders, because we want to make sure everybody has a good time, but make sure that they know how important that they are in all of the fundraising efforts. Earls is fantastic. They have been with us pretty much from year 3 when we got displaced from the Winnipeg Stadium because of a concert. So we found this venue and we've never looked back. The parade is phenomenal. It's a very emotional time for me, and it is for the whole executive. And I'm sure it is for other survivors that are riding that day, because it's an incredible, it empowers you. It gives you a feeling of such strength to be involved in a group like that. Having gone through the fight with cancer, it's just a great way to feel after having gone through it. And I feel very fortunate that I get to share it with 1,500 of my closest friends.
The number of people that are on the side of the road in lawn chairs with signs that say "Ride for Dad," rocks, kids holding up "My dad loves Ride for Dad," to the survivor that's quietly sitting there in a lawn chair with a survivor sign. It truly makes it wells. I get welled up when I think of that. It's just amazing that we've been able to curry that much support from the public for people that don't ride, but we know that not only prostate cancer but all kinds of cancer affect not only the people that contract the terrible disease, but that have to live with the aftermath of unsuccessful treatment. Lakeview has been on board for many, many years, and they do a fantastic job. And just the camaraderie and just to see everybody having a good time is really nice to see.
The Ride for Dad's been going on for, I think I'm not sure how many years now, but we've been doing it since its inception. And we get all the riders out from Winnipeg and they stop here for lunch. We sponsor the lunch and they ride back again.
I'm the survivor of the prostate cancer. So for me, it happened as a young kid. I was 45 years old, which is younger than most men would have it. So it's been 13 years, no problems, all's good, I'm cured. And I just want to tell others how important it is to check yourself and to make sure you go through the steps that I did to be a happy survivor.
I'm now the president of the Police Association, and emergency services members support other emergency services, and that is it's a fantastic thing, because I think if just the general public can see police officers or firefighters or paramedics standing up and saying, listen, you need to get checked, it kind of releases that stigma. And as you know, men are very stubborn, and it takes a lot for men just to go to the doctor for a sore elbow, or so I think it's really good that we're able to stand up and say you need to get checked, and not only to the men, but we try to leverage the women to say, tell your man to get checked, tell your uncle to get checked, so I think the campaign has been very successful. National average, I think, is about 50% of men that participate in Ride for Dad go and get checked afterwards. Manitoba has a 65% average. So I think the message that we're getting out is being effective, and men are getting out there, getting checked, and if they have it, they're getting diagnosed early and they're getting treated early.
For me, I have 33 controlled intersections that I have to have police volunteers man. And one of the reasons that the ride is able to have a police escort as like a parade is because of the fact that we can get the sworn police officers to volunteer, and they basically just monitor those intersections and they block until the ride comes through. Approximately 20 to 25 of my volunteers, and I've got about 45 altogether, are riders as well. So after the whole parade goes through their area, they jump on their bikes and join in at the end. Nicole Sabrin-Friesen is our other volunteer coordinator, and she looks after all the girls that do the registration, look after the money and the merchandise. And she's got about 75 volunteers, so with the two together, it's over 120 volunteers that we get together every year, not including the already 20 members of the executives. I'm right at that age where we're pretty well the same age Ed was when he was diagnosed. So it's definitely a good message for men that they've got to go get checked. You've got to go see your doctor. I know hundreds of guys who haven't gone to see their doctor in 5-10 years, and it's such an important message to get across. You got to go see your doctor. This is a almost 100% curable if caught early, and it's such an easy one to catch that there's no reason not to.
We raffle off a motorcycle and we attend various events like the pre-registration here, Borden Court and Apple, the numerous show and shines that are out there like at the Marion Hotel and at South Beach Casino. And if you don't ride, you can take 20 grand cash. It's massive now. Like you talk to someone about Ride for Dad, like last year we were in Morden and I go, oh, we've heard of that. So obviously being on the news and on the TV, everyone sees it and wants to get involved. And once they realize what you're raising money for, they step up and want to help out as well. Well, my mom's been affected by cancer twice, so obviously not prostate cancer, but it affects men and women, right? So thankfully no one in my family's had prostate cancer yet, but cancer's cancer, and we have to raise awareness, and all the money stays in Manitoba and goes towards research as well. So to me it's an important thing to support.
Women, we kind of are that leading hand, if you will, in the relationship. So we gotta kind of be that forceful push to tell the men in our lives, our fathers, brothers, boyfriends, husbands, and our male friends to go to the doctors, get checked. 1 in 7 men will get prostate cancer in their life, and early detection is key. 90% of causes can be treated by going to the doctor. So, us women, we just gotta, give those guys that extra kick in the butt.
It truly is the participants that are raising the money for this. We're just facilitating it, but the true heroes are the participants that are bringing in thousands and thousands of dollars, because 100% of the pledges that are raised by the riders go towards education and research programs right here in Manitoba. So that's the biggest thing. Make sure that they know that they are the reason why we are such a success in Manitoba.
Since I've been doing a ride, I've raised almost $135,000 personally myself for this ride. I keep debating, is it going to be my last year? I keep telling my wife, yeah, you know what, it's going to be my last year doing a ride. But you know what, right now I think I ended up top donor getter right across Canada.
Well, I said right from the beginning, well, maybe a year or two in, that I wanted to raise $1 million in 10 years, and I'm quite sure we're going to breach $2 million this year. So it's pretty much doubled the expectations. And then, not that we are competitive, it was really great to finally come in number one, because mostly Ottawa for the last 16 plus years have been at the top, because they were the original ride.
Aside from the sense of pride, that I have in myself, I have a great pride in our executive. I have great pride in the people of Manitoba. I think we're probably the most generous, down-to-earth people in Canada. I'll get some flack from other rides from this, but it's such a feeling of accomplishment that it's still hard for me to even comprehend it. Like I say, I feel so fortunate to be a part of this group. It's a great bunch of people, and I feel very, very fortunate. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much.